Right, let's have a little bit of transfer news now. And who better to talk on that topic than our own Dharmesh chef. Dharmesh, good afternoon. Let's start with Mr. Paul Pogba then. Significant developments on his future today. What have you got for us?
Yes, Simon, earlier this month, Manchester United announced that he would be leaving the club at the end of his contract on a free transfer. Now, we knew that Real Madrid, Juventus and Paris Saint-Germain had all held talks with Paul Pogba's representatives. That became two clubs, really, in PSG and Juventus, because Real Madrid had made the signing of Aurelien Tchouameni from Monaco. So it became PSG and Juventus. Now, it's my information today that Juventus are closing in on signing Paul Pogba. They are finalising a 4-year contract on a free transfer to sign Paul Pogba. But I've also been told today that PSG are still in open dialogue with Pogba's representatives. It looks like the front runners are Juventus, and there's been a lot of talk that the announcement might come as soon as this week to coincide with Paul Pogba's documentary, the Pogumentary. Oh. Yes, the Pogumentary.
Is it really called that?
The Pogumentary.
Good grief.
So, and that is released in a couple of days from now. So as it stands, it looks like it's leaning towards a move to Juventus, which we have been reporting in the past few weeks. But PSG do remain in open dialogue with Paul Pogba's representatives. But all of the noises that we're hearing at the moment is looking likely a 4-year contract at Juve.
So that's the news on the Pog. Any further news, if we're going to stay with Old Trafford and Manchester United, on any other potential incomings or outgoings?
Outgoings, I'm still trying to get this one firmed up, but a couple of sources have confirmed to me that Nottingham Forest are pushing to sign the Manchester United goalkeeper Dean Henderson. Now, you remember last season, a lot of talk that Dean Henderson was going to be the #1 goalkeeper at Manchester United at the start of the season, but he contracted COVID right at the beginning of the season, was out for a period of time, in which time David De Gea re-established himself as the #1 goalkeeper, performed very, very well throughout the season in what was a really disappointing season for Manchester United. So Dean Henderson, interesting Nottingham Forest at the moment, and it does make a lot of sense for all parties because Bryce Samba, the Nottingham Forest goalkeeper, who was the hero in the playoff final against Huddersfield Town, in the playoff semi-final rather, against Huddersfield Town in that penalty shootout, he doesn't look like he wants to sign a new contract at the club. And one source has told me that he wants to return to France. Nantes reported to be interested in him. Now, if Henderson was to go to Nottingham Forest, it's likely that he would get the first-team football that he's after. And maybe, 3 months to impress Gareth Southgate ahead of the World Cup. He's got England aspirations, of course, but well out of the reckoning in the top 3 goalkeepers as far as England are concerned, simply because he didn't get enough first-team football last season. So that is definitely one to keep an eye on. I'm just going to get that firmed up and hopefully I'll have a bit more information for you on Henderson, what kind of deal it is, if the clubs are in talks or not, or whether it's just interest at this stage. With regard to incomings, we know the big priority for Manchester United is in midfield. It is Frankie de Jong. The talks continue with Barcelona over a move for Frankie de Jong, but Manchester United are prepared to walk away from any kind of deal if they don't get a reasonable price. It's the shadow boxing phase, I like to call it, of the transfer window. Barcelona will say, we're happy to keep Frankie de Jong. Frankie de Jong's camp might say he's happy at Barcelona. Manchester United are likely to keep their cards close to their chest. Unsurprising, because Barcelona can't be seen to say, yes, he's available, because it'll bring the price down. At the moment, we think the valuations are quite a way apart between United and Barcelona. United, as I say, prepared to walk away if they don't get a reasonable fee. But the noises we're hearing on that is that there's a growing feeling that all parties are thinking that there is a deal to be done here. Frankie de Jong has played under Erik ten Hag before at Ajax in that run to the Champions League semi-finals where they got pipped by Tottenham a few years ago. So that is a pulling factor with regard to de Jong wanting to go to Manchester United. He won't have Champions League football, of course, which he does crave. But on the flip side, playing under a manager where many people say he played his best football could be a decisive factor. Up front, they want to improve their forward line. We mentioned this yesterday. They've made initial contact with Ajax over their Brazilian winger, Antony. And in defence as well, even though that seems to be the lowest priority as far as United are concerned this summer, which may surprise some United fans, but that's purely to do with the number of players that they have in that position. the likes of Varane, Maguire, Lindelof, Bailly, Phil Jones, but they are looking in that area as well. And another Ajax player, you can see the theme here, Erik ten Hag, going back to what he knows, players who know his philosophy, who can hit the ground running in a team that he manages. The player in question is Jurrien, a Dutch international, so they're interested in him. Another name that's been mentioned is Pau Torres as well, the Villarreal central defender. So plenty going on at United. There have been a few outgoings already. We're waiting to see what kind of players come in at United through Erik ten Hag.
But largely shadow boxing at the moment.
Largely.
Largely. Dharmesh, thanks ever so much.